This episode of On the Line is presented to you by Living.fit, your one stop for all your fitness needs. Make sure you go download the app Living.fit today. Now here's the show. Welcome to On the Line. Today is Friday, July 15th. We got a very fun show today. We got a living legend, Bruce Buffer, on the program. We got our UFC Long Island preview in 2 minutes, and we got our medals for the week. So without further ado, before we dive on to Bruce Buffer, if you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platform, hit that follow, maybe leave a review if you're pretty cool. But anyway, actually, before we get into Bruce Buffer, we are in the search of a new co-host. So if you're interested in co-hosting with us and being my co-host, hit my DMs, hit Living Fit's DMs, hit any of our DMs, whatever, and we'll let you know what you need to do to go forward with that, and we'll be posting it online here soon. But without further ado, here is the man himself, Bruce Buffer. We are joined by a very, I say special guest, but I really mean to say we're joined by a living legend. We are joined by undefeated elevator fighter and sometimes the voice of the Octagon. We are joined by Bruce Buffer. My man, what's up? How we doing?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Harrison. Happy to be on the show. I appreciate it. And, thanks for the fitness equipment and everything. That was so cool. I can't wait to see it. Got to train my boys.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we like to do that. I like to help our friends out. Just we scratch your back, scratch our back anyway. And regardless,
Okay.
So we talked about this before. We were talking about this a little bit. It's like how you kind of been in Vegas, which I think kind of what a lot of people might not know is you live in LA. So you're a surfer, you like going out surfing, but you only get a couple days in Vegas out of the week. But how is it just like living in LA and then only getting your 2 days in Vegas? Is it kind of a nice little switch up from living in Vegas since you're 12 years old?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. Here's the thing. I was born in Oklahoma, which I was a drop off for 9 months. Then I grew up in Dallas, Texas for about 5 years of my young life. But Philadelphia is my hometown. Okay. So all my relatives, I'm Italian, all my Italian relatives are all from Philadelphia. And Eagles fan forever. And then at 15, my dad moved us out to Malibu, which was like culture shock. It's like Atlantic City, you see all the dark haired girls, Jersey Shore types running in and out of the water. In Malibu, there's suddenly blonde goddesses in string bikinis running all over the place. The waves are happening. And all I could think about was losing my virginity and learning how to surf, man. My hormones are flying. So it's all good. I learned how to surf first. I became Baywatch. Everything followed its natural course. So cheers to that.
Hell yeah. I feel like going from Philly to California is a little bit different too in terms of like the personalities. You got all in your face assholes, massholes, like East Coast guys. Then you go to California, it's just laid back, chill, relax.
Hey, that East Coast upbringing was very important. I learned how to fight in Texas. I learned how to fight better in Philly, tough town. And being a surfer, honestly, tons of fights. We fought like crazy. All we did was train in martial arts, surf and fight, and try to get ground and pound on the sand. It's a different world, but yeah, surfers are tough, man. They're very territorial. We threw down a lot, so it was all good.
What was your home turf? What was your home turf in Malibu then?
I was a local out here at a place called Trancas Point, which is the end of Zuma Beach. It's a private beach that actually, the actor Steve McQueen?
Yeah.
Well, he was a very good friend of mine the last 6 years of his life, and his son is still one of my best friends. And I surfed every day at his house at Trancas Point, and it was just it's incredible upbringing, man. You got Steve coming down with a 6-pack of beer, a bunch of 16-year-old kids, and telling us great stories and everything. And I can go on and on and on. The upbringing was really cool. We weren't rich; we were middle class. We went broke as a family 2 or 3 times and fought our way back into life again. And that's what taught me my entrepreneurial spirit. I learned a lot. I have incredible parents. I lost my dad, my mom's still with me, but parents are everything in life. The way we're brought up, I think we're realizing that more now than ever with everything going on in this world. So I'm very happy with my upbringing, but it was a tough upbringing. Trust me. You might not think so in Malibu, like, oh, it's a piece of cake. And it was beautiful. I couldn't ask for anything better than that. But thank God for the East Coast, man. In the East Coast, it's either I like you or F you, right? And out here in California, it's like, oh, yeah. That's okay. That direct point A to point B straight line attitude, not just in California, but will get you everywhere in life. Be direct, get it done. Don't bullshit around.
I'll say one thing. Like I'm a Midwest guy. I'm from Indiana, all that. But my intern here, Harrison, who'll have some questions for you later. But I've learned this from meeting people from the East Coast and things like that. Is like being passive aggressive, all that. It doesn't work. But being just right in your face and getting shit done. Like that's the easier way to do it. At the end of the day, like if I have to like let's say like again like the elevator fight's a prime example of this. Like we're friends before we get into a little fight, then after we're still good. Just had to get a little get in your face and kind of remind some people about some things, and then it's
Don't
all
put
good.
your hands on me. I don't care who you are. Yeah, it's all about that. But treat everybody with respect. That's what I say on my podcast all the time. Be a role model to your sphere of influence. Treat everybody with respect. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I can't stand a-holes. I can't stand conceited, arrogant people. I treat everybody equal. You want to announce against me? Fine. You want to fight me? Fine. You want to surf with me? Fine. But you know what? We're all equal. We're all equal.
So one more thing about the surfing thing, then we'll move on. But I'm just kind of curious, like, what is like, so when people surf in your territory, like, just out of curiosity, like, why is that such a bad thing? Why does that cause so many fights?
Well, there's a surfing mentality and the localism, they call it, where you're a local at a beach. As long as you go to that beach, unless it's a private beach, and that's respect, that's the private beach. It's not open to the public. Okay. And you usually need an invite, at least when I was, a local at our private beach. But if you do go out, you have to have respect. You have to watch your way in the lineup. You don't snake anybody by taking off on a wave. You don't interrupt people when they're on the wave, because surfing, especially in big waves, man, this is no idle thing. It's dangerous. Closest I ever came to death was surfing big waves. Okay. So bottom line is, you show respect. If this is not your area, you're visiting, then you wait in the lineup, you wait until it's your turn, you take your shot at your wave. You don't snake anybody. If you do, you're going to pay the price, whatever that price might be. I was never one of those guys that beat people on the beat up on the beach. I mean, I certainly had to defend myself, but I was a protector. I mean, when locals got a little too a-holy, then I dealt with them. It's like, shut the F up, leave these guys alone. This is not right. I mean, I know locals in some places out here in California, you come out, you go to the beach, you come back and they got a street sign through your front windshield.
Oh my God.
Which is ridiculous.
That's what
I grew up with the whole I grew up with the whole Point Break mentality. I never robbed banks, but I did everything else you can think of in that movie,
Yeah, exactly. So let's kind of move on. So like I know you were a martial artist growing up, and you kind of fell your way into the UFC, and as of 26 years ago, as of yesterday, that was your anniversary. 26 years being the voice of the Octagon. I mean, do you still have the suit from that day? Do you still have it?
I don't. I think I do. It's in my closet. I got some of of course, I'm positive I do. But in reality, guys, my 26th year anniversary was actually in February because I managed a fighter named Scott the Pitbull Ferrazzo down to UFC 8 in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. And I didn't want to manage fighters. I did that strictly as a ploy to get in the Octagon. I convinced the owner, Robert Meyerowitz, when I went down there, I said, I got my tuxedo in my bag. I'm here. Get me in the Octagon. Let me announce the prelim, show you what I got. I can help you build this brand. I've got the media contacts that won't even go near you. They're scared of the UFC. They're scared of the name Ultimate Fighting, which is true. Even ESPN back then told me they were scared of the name. Okay. And I was pitching them to look at this. Not like I was going to make any money. I was always into promoting the brand. I wanted this thing to be the biggest thing ever. And I knew it would be. So I was just doing my part. So I basically convinced them to let me do the prelims, and they did. And then they didn't hire me after that. And 2 shows later, UFC 10, they called me 2 days before that show because the announcer they had, Rich G. Mangoyan's uncle, passed away, and they needed me to announce the show. And then I went down, I announced it, and that's the show that was the anniversary of yesterday. But in reality, it was really back in February. If you want to talk my first step in the Octagon.
I was gonna say I wasn't sure. I didn't because I saw this like yesterday, and I wasn't really sure if it was.
Oh, I saw it too.
I knew you did it
fly.
first. Yeah, it does fly. I remember like yesterday it was like I wasn't sure if it was when you became like the full time guy or if it was the anniversary of like the.
Wasn't even the full time. It wasn't. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It wasn't even the full time guy. It was my first full show.
Oh.
Then I get back and I'm thinking, oh, they're going to hire me now. No, they didn't hire me. They hired a friend of the producers. I think his name was Manny Garcia or something. And he was like nervous in the service, and he had a good voice, but he was making mistakes in the names, which gave me more fodder to go after him. So I'd fly to New York and, take him out to lunch, whatever. I'm come from the school you asked for the job. Right. So it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I kept telling them, you need me. I'm not just going to be an announcer. I need to grow as the announcer, but I'll help you build this brand. That's what I do. I'm a brand builder. So they called me 6 months later after that show, approximately. And they said, listen, Warner Brothers is doing the Ultimate Fighting Champions segment on Friends. Tank Abbott's on it. John McCarthy's on it. They have a voiceover for the announcer, but they want the real announcer. So they're going to send a runner down to your house. Do you want to be on the show? I said, of course I'd love to be on the show. So they sent a runner down to my house to pick up audio and video. They called me that night from Warner Brothers, said, be on the set at 6 a.m, rehearse tomorrow, film on Wednesday. So I took the job. They said, you'll be co-starring as yourself, right? Which was great. So then I talked to Robert Myers, again, the owner. I said, are you going to be there? He said, yeah. I said, let's meet for lunch. when I met her for lunch, I basically said, look, I'm co-starring as myself on the biggest comedy on TV in the world, right? Your biggest PR break you ever got is UFC. Now people are going to think I'm the announcer. Let's stop screwing around. I feel like a girl waiting to be asked to the prom. And I'm going to ask you one more time. I want this job. I help you build this brand, but I have to be the announcer and grow with you. Best poker hand I ever played in my life. And that's when I became the guy. That guy.
And to be fair, you've had some pretty good poker hands over years. I know you've won a couple tournaments. You've made some pretty good money in these tournaments.
Yeah, I've done okay. I've done okay. The Card Player magazine awarded me with a title. They call me the number 8 best celebrity poker player in the world.
Number 8. We need to have a real tournament, like an actual celebrity tournament. See who the real winner.
But that was celebrity tournaments. But on the World Series, the professional circuit, you can go to cardplayer.com. I think it shows I won like a little under $400,000 playing professional poker tournaments. And I'm not bragging. It's just right there. Like
it's stats. It's stats, but it's proven. Like you actually know you're actually good at it. It isn't like you're number 8 just to think, oh, he's just number 8. You're actually good at it. You're actually a good card player.
I never lie in life, but if you play poker with me, I'm going to lie through my teeth and take your chips. Sorry, buddy. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make your money.
Yeah, I'm not as good as poker as I used to be. I fell off the deep end, but
I do want to go back. Become friends. We'll do a lot of drinking and having fun.
We'll drink, have some cigars, have a good time, have some conversation.
I'm still going to take your money.
Yeah, you're going to take my money, which. So speaking of back, so obviously again this was your recurring one, but do you still have all the old cards from the very beginning? I know you keep on to the cards. Do you still have the old ones from like the very beginning, or is it just or did you lose those?
I have boxes and boxes and boxes, and I have the very first cards I ever did at UFC 8. Right over here is the program from UFC 100 when I did the 360 in front of Brock Lesnar with my cards. I've got the tuxedo and shoes in the closet. I've often been thinking of putting that up for auction for charity, but I've only let about 13 sets go of the cards on auction, like on eBay or for charity auction. And they average anywhere from like around 175 to 200 plus per card or 2,000 plus per set. The most ever paid for one of those cards. I just now I'm completing my cards for the show this weekend. I got to cut them and
put them all together.
The card, but they're not even. I have to, do my artwork and everything.
Yeah. Do your little thing, your process.
Yeah, it takes like 2-3 hours. So I'm just finishing that up today before I hit the plane. So anyway, the most it ever sold for was the the Amanda Nunes Cyborg card. When Amanda beat Cyborg, and that card sold for $4,200. Crazy.
That is nuts. I can only imagine if that went for that much. I wonder how much like one of those Connor cards would cost.
One of the what?
The Connor cards, like the one like Connor Nate.
Oh no, they're it's just going up and up in price. I mean, if you can see, like I have the Dr. No original poster behind me, James Bond. My whole house is vintage movie posters. I collect sports memorabilia, movie memorabilia. I don't hunt, but I collect antique weapons, all for investment. I used to put on antique gun shows, and I'm a big collector of weapons, plus my own personal protection stuff. But I know how to make collector markets, or I've been in the collecting business for 30 plus years. I'll tell you right now, Panini cards, all this stuff, the bobbleheads of me and the others that MMA bobblehead makes, these are true collector's items. Put them away for 5 years. You'll be able to sell them. You can sell them now. They just sold one of the new Panini cards of me that was like a hologram type looking card. I don't know what they call it. I was looking at it. I mean, the card came out like a month or two ago. It's already sold for $305. It's crazy.
Well, we're at the very beginning of even though the UFC, as we said, is like it's like 26, 20-ish years old. It's really taking off, I feel like, right now. And we're really starting to see, like, right now, you're still at the early stages of it. And you're still at the early stages of, like, MMA as, like, because as we said, like, the ESPN was scared.
That's your youth talking. I was saying we're at the early stages 26 years ago. Now you're saying it now, but you're absolutely correct. This is a rocket ship going uphill. It's not peaked by any standards.
Yeah, it's going up. And I feel like the other thing, too, is, like, you tell me I'm wrong, but I feel like we're about to hit this, like, golden era of fighters and things. And we kind of got a glimpse at it with Graymont and Saryukian, where it's just, like, you literally can't be a specialized fighter, I feel like, anymore, especially if you're a young guy. You have to be elite at almost in every single facet. Like, obviously, you have to be able to do all the martial arts, but I feel like nowadays you're going to see these, like, it's completely different fights than what we've been seeing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you're looking at and what you're really talking about is the fact that the skill factor is getting higher and higher and higher. I mean, in the beginning, it was blood sport, one style versus the other, or whatever the case might be. And then we coined the term, Jeff Blatnick, the Olympian who passed away from cancer, and McCarthy and all them, they coined the term mixed martial arts, which meant you have to be adept at everything. But you're seeing the talent pool, and we see it in the dojos with the young talent coming in. getting more and more and more talented, and supermen and superwomen personified. So there's so many stars up and coming. Sure, you can always have the it factor, which only comes along every couple of years with a Connor or Ronda or Israel Adesanya, but I'm seeing a lot out there. And every, like this year and last year, every show has been incredible. And the moment I see a fight, like, wow, that's the best fight I've ever seen. And I know it's not true, because 2 weeks later, that's the best fight I've ever seen. It's crazy. It's great for me because I'm always excited walking the octagon. I can't fake that stuff. I'm not going to phone it in. I mean, I don't rehearse. I don't do anything. I just make sure I know the names. If you notice, I rarely look at my cards, but I have it pretty well down. But I just feel the energy of the crowd and start letting it fly. I don't know what I'm going to do till I do it, whether I jump, turn, whatever. But I'm a kid in a candy store, man. I know that octagon like a basketball player knows his half court. I know exactly where I'm at every minute. I blow my knee. I blow my back in there. I mean, I can't begin to tell you. I've been so screwed up in there. You have no idea. I'm just doing my thing. And you won't ever know if I have 103-degree temperature, laryngitis, or one leg, which I had for 3 shows in a row one time when I severed my ACL the night before. That's all fine and dandy. I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy. These men and women are fighting. Okay. They're putting their blood, sweat, tears, and life on that octagon floor. I can do what I have to do. I can muscle it out. I mean, no way I'm going to complain about anything.
The only thing that took you out was COVID, but that was just, and that was like, well, that was like 2000. That was late 2020, right? Yeah, no, late 2020. Yeah, it was last year. That was the only thing that could take you away, but that was, health safety protocols, things like that couldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, it's like, who is like the guy? Like, obviously, this is a worldwide sport. You get these names from across the world. Was there a name that took you longer than a lot of others to kind of hammer down and like figure out? Because I know, like,
no, the more syllables, like Habib Nurmagomedov, the better. So let me get it all down. That's a lot of meat to work with. I love that kind of stuff. Names like Mike Swick or Frank Trigg, those are tough because they're single syllable. Mike Swick, Frank Trigg, Habib Nurmagomedov. Yeah, there's so much more meat. Or Randy Couture, the former, the UFC Octagon Hall of Fame. Give me all the meat I can get. But I'm probably, I laugh sometimes because I look on Twitter and, see comments and, oh my God, it took Buffer longer, or he's taking so long. You look at every other announcer and put me in there and you time it. I'm probably the fastest announcer out of everybody because it's not what I say, it's how I say it. When I get long, it's because I'm told I got to say, like, these, with all respect, the sponsors and, stuff like that. I mean, that's part of the job. And then you got to bring them back into the fight. And that's where, you create the, the moment you've all been waiting for, blowing up with its time, because you lose the audience when you do that, and you got to bring them back in, and that's where all that comes from. But no, I want to get the sizzle. I want to get in the fighters' faces. I've never instigated a fist bump in my life. That's all the fighters coming to me, which is an amazing compliment. Or guys like Chiesa sticking their head on my head and and going into it. It's like, right on, baby. This isn't show business. It's show biz. Let's do this thing.
Those are so, like, when you have a Chiesa Francis come in, do you just know, like, all right, I'm just going to go up into his face because I know that's what he wants?
I know he. Yeah,
is there guys where you're like, you have to, like, I'm going to stay back a little bit. I know I'm going to go in, but just in case he's not feeling it, I'm going to stay back a little bit. Or do you just go right in?
I go to a certain point. I know exactly where to go, and they can create the tempo from there. Whether it's him or some of the other guys, it's just a very cool experience. I don't even hear the crowd. My eyes are on the eyes of the tiger. I don't hear the crowd at all. They can be going crazy, everything. Like when I was in Brazil, when we went back there back in the late 90s, I forget exactly when, 2000s, when there was a ban on MMA, and we finally went back. And then I did the thing, and I get out of the octagon, and the great Stitch man, Stitch Duran, comes up to me and goes, "Buff, did you hear that?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Everybody in the audience said it's time with you. It was unbelievable." I said, "I didn't hear it because I'm so focused." Right. Then I watched it on TV. I'm like, holy heck, 20,000 Portuguese people. And then I realized if I held it for a minute, they're going to hold it with me. And then it started happening all over the world. And that's an amazing compliment. The show's not about me. I'm there to enhance it as much as I can. But the fact that I can get people's hair standing up and get them excited, I mean, I love that. That's what I live for.
And then, like, just out of curiosity, I know you've told the origin, kind of basic, or the origin story of, like, its time and all that, but, like, when did you know that was going to be, like, that is the catchphrase? Like, this is, like, just like, let's get ready to rumble.
Right then, the Brazilian experience, that's when I knew it was catching on. I mean, it was starting to catch, and people were yelling it to me in Brazil and other places. But I mean, as far as capturing the entire arena, and then it started happening. And then I realized, wow, this is really it. And I trademarked it before that. But right now, let's get ready to rumble, which my brother and I, I manage my brother, the legendary Michael Buffer, the great Michael Buffer. Um, and that's been a 30-year endeavor of work and partnership and management. So I was never phrase driven. I created that like maybe 7, 8 years into my career. It was again, it's all about it's not what I say, it's how I say it. I didn't want to be Frank Sinatra Jr. I didn't want to be that, oh, he's Michael Buffer's brother. No, I wanted to be Bruce Buffer, stand on my own. I don't ride his coattails. I keep his coattails sewed on. There's a difference. And I didn't want to be, I didn't want to, I was going to quit in 3 years if I didn't develop my own style. I want to be recognized for me, not for anybody else. And people copy Michael like crazy. Now I crack up at some of the announcers trying to be physical like me or copy, my stuff or, it's whatever time. I mean, be friggin' original, man. Go out there and be recognized for being original.
Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Kind of like make it be authentic. Cause I feel like that's the other thing that makes you so good. It's like, it's all authentic. It doesn't feel staged. It doesn't feel like you and Kiesa for all these Kiesa. Cause I think that's what
I don't rehearse.
Yeah. You don't rehearse. Like you guys just go out there and that's real. It's authentic,
It's, let it fly. And again, with respect to all other announcers, I'm flattered that, they're trying to adapt to my style, whatever. And it's great. So, do a good job, go be yourself. But I always say, learn from everybody, but create your own style, your own individual. It doesn't have to be, let's get ready to, or it's this, or not even a trademark. Just concentrate on your art, concentrate on your style, concentrate on being what you are. But there's a lot of good announcers out there. There's a lot of good fighters out there, but there's only so many with the it factor that get recognized.
100%. That is the big thing. I don't know if you've ever noticed this or if you do this on purpose. So when you have a split decision, I've noticed what you usually do is you'll look at the guy who loses, and then as you're announcing who's going to win, then you look right back at the guy who's winning. Is that intentional that you always do that? Like right before you announce it, you look at the guy who loses, then as you read it off, you look at the guy who wins.
No, it's just that, the thing is that when it's like this, it's not all the time. And I know people say that, and you try to look, I got two choices. I stand behind this guy or I stand behind that guy, or I stand behind them both in the middle. But a lot of times the IFB in my ear, the directors say, pick a side, right? So I had to pick a side. So I don't always stand behind the loser. I don't always stand behind the winner. I don't want people to think that's the guy that's, before I'm doing. But when it's close, like 29-28 in all cards, and such a close fight that you think either one could win, that's when I have a tendency to really look at the, loser and then bang over to the winner. I'm trying to create that moment, right? But when it's an obvious one-sided victory, I don't play that game. I don't mean to, but my goal is not to play that game. There's really no method to my madness. But you got to remember, again, I only got two sides to stand on. I mean, how many times can I change it up? No matter what I do, everybody's going to think there's a formula to it. And I know they say that a lot, but that's not my intention.
I feel like it was like maybe like an unintentional thing where you just kind of do that naturally, or maybe I'm trying to imagine you doing
only
it.
When it's tight.
Yeah. Only when it's tight.
My goal is only when it's tight. And you don't, that Rose or Carla could, that kind of thing. Yeah. Just whatever.
Yeah. Like I know, like when I hear you say a judge a scorecard, like one, you're like, they score at 29-28, Sparza or whatever. And then you say the next one. I always try to feel like, okay, if he says the first one, does that mean she won, or is the second one, does that mean that's so one? I try to figure this stuff out, but like I don't think there's even a method to it. You just kind of go based on like
no method
scores. Yeah, there's no method to the madness.
There's no method. I mean, I try to mix it up as best I can. I only got so much to work with, guys.
Yeah. Only got so much to work with. It is a very interesting thing, and it's kind of funny how you'll probably have. Do you ever have people like reach out to you, like DMs or messages, things like that? Or like you're favoring this person, you're favoring that person when you announce their decisions?
Rarely, because I think I'm an equal opportunity announcer. I mean, if I sound like I've got friends that I look forward to seeing the win, but I'm always made the best man win, made the best woman win. And I've got a job to do. I got to go in there unbiased, and do my thing. I mean, sometimes I'll get to the judges table and I'll see these ridiculous scorecards by the judges. And I'm like, what the frig is this all about? Split decision, 30-27 for this guy and 30, and then 29-28 from the other two for the other guy. It's like, what fight are they watching?
Okay, so you agree with it. I feel like there's got to be somewhere you pick up like, oh, this is gonna make people mad, or like, oh, I don't know about this.
More times than I can begin to tell you. Trust me. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just the messenger.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's got to be some times where you get a card and you're like, I have to like not show any emotion that this is like a bad card and like these are bad scores.
Poker face time.
Yeah, because poker face. I feel like that's when you really show the professionalism, because I'm not gonna say fights, but like there's fights you could think of probably where you read them and you're just like, this is so wrong. This is just terrible. Because you're not only taking money away from the guy who's losing, but it's just like maybe like title implications, things like that. It's a tough
Oh,
sport. Such a tough
I
sport
get,
with it.
it's a tough thing. It's the tough, most single person sport in the world. Once that gate closes, all your team, you're alone.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing. But yeah, it's tough. And there's many a time that I've gotten like tears in my eyes, little tears or whatever, just realizing the repercussions it has on this person's career, or even in a situation where, I see Joanna or Cowboy, suddenly taking off their gloves. And I go up to him, I go, you going to lay him down? And Cowboy says to me, like he said to the audience, because I just don't have it in me anymore, or Joanna looking at me and just, telling me she loves me and giving me a big hug. And it's obvious she's going to lay down her gloves. These are, gotta remember, I share my life with these people. We've traveled the world together. I've dedicated my life to these fighters in many ways, big and small, depending. There's emotions flying. There's more than just doing a job here. It's a lifestyle. This is my life.
I say it's like that's one of the rawest things you can see too when you start seeing them take the gloves off. I feel like there's some younger fighters who will take the gloves off and they're not like putting them in, but like when you see the older people, there's always that little like heart jump a little bit. You're like, oh, are they gonna put them down? Like, is this it?
Yeah,
because there's sometimes we have a little pump fake, but then sometimes it's like for real.
Yeah. Well, I'll either put my microphone down in the octagon or I'll just go, it's tough. Just die right there. Be the first death in the octagon. That's probably the best way for me to go.
I think that would be appropriate, right? And not having any of the fighters die,
so.
Just have the announcer just die in the octagon, just too excited,
It's either that or get hit by a great white shark, something to make TMZ.
Yeah,
all good.
Yeah, or a surfing accident. There's that,
Not an accident.
Not an accident. No, just like you go after the waves, like
no surfing accident. Just it's either the great white or it's nothing. Okay, just no surfing accidents.
No surfing accidents. Great white, or in the octagon.
Or maybe a big wave. You don't see me come up. Okay, that's cool. But
No, that's why I said accident. I was like, yeah, just some massive wave just got pulled away.
However it falls, but it ain't gonna happen, bro. I'm not gonna let that happen.
Just out of curiosity too, when you get into is there like, are you like a big coffee before the octagon? Do you take like a pre-workout? Like I know you have an energy drink now. Do like what do you do to get the energy up, or is it all natural? Because it's like I feel like at 1 in the morning, I have to have a little bit of a boost.
It's all natural because I get excited over the crowd. I get excited about what I do. I mean, I read tweets. How many lines of blow is he doing? Like whatever. It's like, Jesus, guys, give me a friggin'
everybody
break.
with anyone with energy. I feel like in the UFC, you're like, oh, he's on blow. He's on blow. He's on some kind of cocaine.
You know what? Look at the source, the horse's mouth saying it. And I think that'll explain more than anything. Let me just say for the record, cocaine is one of the worst drugs in the world. I'm just telling everybody out there, enjoy your herb, enjoy whatever. That's all cool, but just stay away from that crap. I had a friend of mine that was in the paper. She's a comedian, and they're lacing everything with fentanyl these days, right? A lot of stuff. She OD'd and 2 people with her died. The last thing, if I was in my sex, drugs, and rock and roll days, back in the 80s and 70s, last thing I would ever do is do that stuff. It's horrible.
No, there's a lot
better. Enjoy the hell out of yourselves.
Yeah.
Enjoy the hell out of yourselves.
There's a lot better drugs out there than cocaine. There's a lot better.
You know what? My drug is life. My drug is walking in an octagon. My drug is looking at my beautiful girlfriend and realizing I'm falling in love with her. And that's the drug that I love. Okay.
Those are the natural drugs are the best drugs.
I'm all natural, baby. I'm 65. I still got a 6-pack and I'm all natural. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Damn right.
Oh, and that's another thing. Somebody took a picture of me at a pool one time and now he has ab implants. Get the hell out of here. What the ab? And then I looked up and there is such a thing. It's like, oh my God,
the Liver
crazy.
King. I don't know if you've ever seen the Liver King on social media. You know that guy?
Has he had ab implants?
Oh yeah, it's pretty apparent.
They are implants?
They're implants. Well, he probably could have abs. He probably would have abs if he didn't have the implants, but the implants are like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like they're inflated, if that makes sense.
Well, he's probably got some extra vitamins going in. I don't want to accuse anybody. How they get those distended stomachs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. You know what? Eat right, train right. I had a 6-pack, an 8-pack when I was a kid. And you know what? Given the right diet, I have a 4-pack, 6-pack. I'll give you an 8-pack for a photo shoot. Give me 2 weeks. You know what, guys? Stay in shape. Eat right, be right, play hard, work hard, stay hard, whatever you want to call it. Just do what you got to do and be healthy.
Do you still kickbox?
Take care of your vessel. Because if you don't take care of yourself, I don't care how much money you make, whatever, you're not going to enjoy your life.
No. Do you still kickbox?
Train.
You still train?
No more. Yeah, but I've got no ACL on my left leg. So when I throw, I say if I ever have to turn 2, I can turn 2. I still got it all. But I can do that in 30 seconds if I have to, right? And if it goes beyond 30 seconds, I haven't gotten it finished. And it's like, help, Mr. Wizard, get me out of here. What did I get myself into? But no, training wise, all kidding aside and seriousness aside, I train. I can still do full splits. I'm flexible the whole bit, but I don't do power shots. I mean, I can do it. I'll save it for the reality. I'll take the Robbie Lawler approach. Don't spar, wait for the fight. But I don't want to hurt my legs or anything anymore. You know.
No, I don't want to do that. I was gonna say training. It's one of those things where it keeps you a healthy lifestyle, keeps you doing the right things. I don't know. I've always been a big proponent of like working out, things like that. There's no like that little dopamine effect you get after a workout. Can't beat it. It's incredible.
I train every day, reduce the stress levels a whole bit. No, I'm. If you ever watch my Instagram, I post some of my training videos. You know, I mean, I'm get in there and get it done.
No excuses. You're at 65 and you're still got a six pack, still training your ass off. No excuses.
Hey, you know what? My girlfriend's 22 years younger than I am. I better stay in shape, so it's all good.
Gotta keep away the younger
guys. She's a professional yogi and a healer, so I mean, she's in amazing shape. So I'm motivated.
Is that how you learn how to do the splits again?
Pardon me?
Did you ever like stop being able to do you say you could do the splits? Did she like get you back into being that flexible, or is that something you've always been able to do and kind of never lost?
I've always been able to do that. I stay flexible, but she's definitely going to keep me flexible, so it's all good.
So I want to go back to the COVID era of this whole thing, and when you have these empty arenas, things like that. Obviously, I know you said like you get locked in with the fighters, but before you start talking to the fighters, like you start doing the announcements, things like that, when you're doing like the beginning of the intros, was there a person you look at in the crowd to start feeding off their energy, or was it kind of you just like walk away and just kind of do your thing?
Just do my thing. I don't have to look at anybody. You know, it's no, just do my thing. I'm looking at that camera. I'm looking at the millions of people watching, and then it's me in the eye of the tiger of the fighters. And you know, I always try to bring it. If there's 100 people at the apex, or as little as 40 that we had in the beginning or less, the bottom line is I'm trying to create the atmosphere so the people watching feel that there's tons of people in the audience in the big fight, right? Obviously not the same as a full arena of 15, 20,000 people, but no, I definitely get it going because again, I'm there to serve these fighters, right? I'm there to enhance their moment. There's no laying down. I'm not going to let up. I got a job to do. So all good. And the apex is such an intimate setting. I mean, Dana and the crew did such a great job with buffets for the people and full bar in the back, which I don't get to till after the last fight. But you know, there's all this stuff happening. I love it at the apex. And then when we do a big show, like once a month where there's people, it's that much more exciting for me. I'm going to miss that formula, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, I feel like there's something special. The formula they have right now is like, it just feels special because like the apex fights and all that. I think I like the intimacy. I like how you can hear the shots. You can hear everything. I like that aspect of it. And then we get to a pay-per-view or like say a UFC London or whatever, they just feel bigger. And it just feels like a bigger atmosphere, you know?
Well, this weekend in Long Island is going to be great on ABC, and the next weekend in London is going to be awesome because the London, you know, let's face it, the UK fans are huge fight fans. It's going to be awesome. I think Connor's going to be in the arena, so there's going to be a lot of good stuff happening there. And I can't wait to London because my energy products coming out this year. We're working on a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I was going to release it 2 months ago, but COVID's created some issues and supply chains and stuff. But I'm just working to make it the best product as it is on the market. You know, The Rock came out with his. Sorry, Dwayne. You know, I come out with my bourbon. You come out with your tequila. You come out with your energy drink. I come out with a better one. Sorry, Dwayne.
We got the better bourbon. We got Puncher's Chance. So is the bar in the back then just all like Howlerhead and Puncher's Chance, and then a bunch of Modelo's at the apex? Just those three.
Yeah, not Punchers. It was there in the beginning, but there's definitely plenty of Howlerhead and all the other stuff, and plenty of Modelo. They'll put some Punchers, but Puncher's Chance, you know, my bourbon, it's all over America now. You can go to puncherchancebourbon.com and have a bottle shipped right to your house if you need to. But we've won 6 gold medals, 3 for taste, 3 for design of the bottle. And the Bourbon Spectator called us the top 5 best sipping bourbon in America. I mean, we're considered now one of the fastest selling, definitely the highest rated new bourbons in America for after the year and a half we've been in business. And I love Connor. Connor, I love you, bro. I'm going to show you how to do it the proper way. You haven't won any gold medals yet.
Out of all the products, you think about all the products people have endorsed and things like that, and like UFC, things like that, that almost sounds like it is the most accomplished. No big deal or anything. It sounds like Puncher's Chance is the most accomplished liquor, drink, or whatever coming out of the UFC endorsement era.
Yeah, if you want to consider it in the way you're saying it, absolutely. No, it's there. No, it's knocking doors down, bro. I'm building a big brand with this. It's really good.
Yeah, I keep meaning to buy it. I'll enjoy it for this weekend. I'll buy it for this weekend.
Where are you located?
I'm in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get it there. Just check it out. Definitely get a bottle this weekend. If you can't find it at a local store, just go to puncherchancebourbon.com, but you'll have it by Saturday.
Ooh, Ooh, I might just have to do that then.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, I know like you're the voice in the Octagon, but when we do like the ceremonial weigh-ins and things like that, Anik does a great job. Don't get me wrong, but I've always been curious as to why you don't do the ceremonial weigh-ins like announcing thing.
John's a brother, and John, I think, is one of the best, if not the
Oh
best
yeah,
commentator. I love John. He's
he's
just
so
such a
good.
consummate professional. I used to do them all the time, right? And now, they bring in the commentators, and they brought in Joe. I mean, I was doing every one in the early days, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I get in on Friday. I don't always go to the weigh-ins except for specific shows. And I'm kind of a nun the night before a fight. I don't go crazy. I mean, I got a job to do, and I got preparation to do too. So whether I'm out to dinner, with friends, or my girl, she comes with me, whatever. But the bottom line is I'm fine with that. John, go ahead, do the weigh-ins. All good.
A little less work. You can focus more on the cards and embrace the moment.
Yeah.
And
Let me focus on what I got to do.
so one more thing real quick about the COVID thing. This is the last thing I got for it. So like when you were, I know you've said this in a past interview, you kind of enjoyed the fact, like obviously you love the fans, love taking pictures, autographs, all that kind of stuff. But when you're at the Apex, you're like really able to watch the fights and enjoy the product.
Yeah.
Is there a part of you that kind of like, yeah, put me at the Apex a couple more times. I want to really sit down and enjoy these fights.
No, I want to be at the Apex all the time. I love the Apex, and they've done a great job with it. And, they saved a lot of money, each show they do, but the income they make off the ticket sales and everything is big income, and going from state to state. I mean, we have to travel. We have to do what we do.
Do you think they're still going to consistently have Apex fights going forward? Like maybe not like
Oh yeah.
as often.
No, there's just not going to be, like right now, if I look at the schedule here, but Long Island, London, Dallas,
Then we got
San
Santos
Diego,
still.
I won't be doing San Diego. I have my first Raiders game on August 14th. I open up for all the Raider game. They made me a member of the team. Hopefully get a Super Bowl ring if they get to go to the Super Bowl. That's an awesome gig. Walking out in front of 70, 80,000 people and doing that. I'll be at the Super Bowl, I'm sure, this year or next year. Mark my words.
I think no. I feel like they're going to save you for when it's in Vegas.
Well, that's already been told me.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, there's no one else you could have.
The NFL wanted me to do it last year. I don't want to give away too much, but then at the last minute they brought in Dwayne and The Rock, and he did does a thing. But Dwayne, you don't say it is time 5 times, okay? Dwayne, you say it once.
Did you get your royalties yet?
No, I wrote his agent, who's a buddy of mine. And I said I'm waiting for my cameo in his next movie. I'm honored he used it as time. Thank you. I'm waiting for the call to his next movie set. Yeah, September's France.
So you'll be there. Yeah, you'll be in the international one.
Yeah. There's an Apex show in October. There's a couple coming up.
Okay. I was just kind of curious. So then what was I gonna say? I just lost track of myself. So yeah, speaking of the Raiders thing and speaking of do the NFL stuff, I know you also were asked to do the Pro Bowl, and when you went to the Pro Bowl, there was a dead mic. Is that the most frustrating moment? And like, I know you're usually pretty cool, calm, and collected. Was that the most frustrating moment you've had as a?
You hit it on the head. I am a cool cat. Okay. I'm a poker player. I have patience. If I get upset and I go over the edge, it's hard to get me back. So, I'm always cool, right? But I try to be, or I am. I don't mean I'm cool. Like, hey, look at me, I'm cool. I didn't mean
Bruce
that.
Is so cool.
I'm calm. I know how to deal with stuff. I'm not going to be an a-hole. I like to get things done. But then this young kid gave me the mic because first I was down on the ground introducing the 2 teams. I had to run all the way up to the dais at the top of Allegiant Stadium, and he gave me a mic. And when I get up there and I walk out, here's Bruce Buffer, blah, blah, blah. And here I am on ESPN to the world and to the stadium. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going, we are live. And inside I'm going, what the? It's like, we are live. What? So then I go through the whole thing and then I'm done and I'm just livid. I'm so upset because I've been looking forward to this for like 2 months. It's the NFL themselves that put me there. It's the big, what an amateur mistake. Oh my God. How could this possibly happen? So yeah, I was upset and I was ready to tear somebody's head off. And, I run companies, man. I don't sit around. Incompetence does not stand with me. You either do your job or you don't have the job. Okay. It's after I've taught you how to do the job. All right. You get so many chances in life. First time's a learning experience. You do it again, it's a mistake. Okay. So bottom line, I thought about the young kid that handed me the mic, and I didn't want this kid to get his job hurt or anything like that. So I just shut it off, and then they brought me out at halftime and gave me a live mic. So it was funny. It was a multi-million-dollar commercial for the UFC that became a $250,000 commercial because you didn't hear my voice. So all good.
It's all good. You still do the Raiders games. So like, that's still incredibly cool. That's so like you because he kicked you at least had the ESPN thing earlier in the year when they had Monday Night Football. That was broadcasted to everyone. So there's that. And the Raiders are gonna have they're part of like the marquee division now of the NFL with all the quarterbacks that are now there, all the players that are there. So they're probably gonna have more televised games from the Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, things like that.
Yeah, the schedule's really cool. I mean, sometimes I'm going to be like in Canada or something, and I got to get back in time for the game, but that's okay. That's my job.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And luckily, it's always a 4:15 start if it's in Vegas, well, at least
I
Eastern
hope.
time. So like if you're in,
I hope.
yeah, they'll never have a 9 a.m. like kickoff.
No, it's 1 o'clock or it's 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
give or take, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's fine.
That's easy. That's good enough. Easy enough time to get back because usually if you're in Canada, like it would be. Are they looking at what is it? Montreal? Is that what they're looking at?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I hope it is because I love Montreal.
I know they're looking at
O2
someone
Arena,
in
Montreal.
Canada, though. Yeah, that would be.
What I love Montreal, the restaurants there are just amazing. Oof.
Can't honestly say can't relate. I've only been to Toronto. I've never been to Montreal. I've only been to Toronto. Love Toronto though, so I'll take your word for it though. I bet Montreal.
Let me put it this way: I've never met a rude Canadian. I've met a lot of inebriated ones. They're really good. And the thing is, if you're single, there, the women there, they're beautiful with no attitude, like an LA attitude, I call it. I mean, Canada's a very special country.
Yes.
The food, the people. I love Canada. If it wasn't for the brutal winters in some of the areas, I could easily live in Canada.
Oh, it's beautiful up there. Like right now, it's like the best time to be up in Canada. It is awesome. It is awesome. Can't miss it. So
Yep.
I got a couple more questions. I'm gonna hand it off to my intern here. He has some questions, but you're an unlockable character in the UFC video game. Have you ever played as yourself?
You know what? When they first came out, I would get phone calls, say, sorry, I can't talk. I'm playing with myself. And people might have misunderstood that, but I was definitely playing the game a lot. No question.
Did they underrate you, properly rate you? How would you rate yourself?
You set me up for that one. Come on.
I know. How would you say they properly rated you in the game? You say you're properly rated, maybe a little underrated. Do they have it right with the striking, the grappling ratios? What would you say?
I think they got it down pretty well because it's got all my moves and stuff. I'm pretty well can do everything. When I fight, I believe in the simple moves. The right cross, front kick, roundhouse. Maybe a spinning back kick if you're playing off, an offensive move from your opponent, because I don't like to turn my back when I fight. And just, straight to the stomach, straight to the gullet. I'm very simple in my moves. Want to get fancy? A lot of times you get fancy, you pay the price.
Yeah. Not too much spinning shit doesn't really work out too well sometimes.
It looks pretty.
It looks pretty.
And I can do it. It looks good. I love it. I can hit you with it, but you know what? The wrong guy's going to put me on my ass. So I'm not going to take that chance.
No, dude, I don't want to take that chance. And then I know another big part of your business is like you do a lot of like voices and camos and things like that. I know you've had some very interesting ones. Like you had the one that went viral where a guy used you to break up with his girlfriend. You had no idea. You sent out an offer though to the girlfriend if she wanted retribution. Did she ever reach out to you?
She never reached out to me. I wish she would have, because I felt bad. It was kind of a dick move on that guy's part. Because he made it sound like she was moving into a new apartment or getting a new car. So, of course, whenever I do a cameo, and I do a ton of cameos, I think I'm going to be one of their first $1 million earners here within the next 2 months. I do a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about that. I get partial proceeds to charities and stuff. So that was just wrong, And I know my business went up 200% as a result of it because I got so much publicity all over the world. But don't write me to break up with your girlfriend. I'm not that kind of dude. But if she ever got a hold of me, I would give her a really fun video to give to him.
I feel like you probably had a lot of people reaching out to you too, then like asking for the same thing. Like, oh, if he did it for him, he'll do it for me.
Well, I had, I had a couple that came in and they were pretty crude. And I'm just not that kind of guy.
No.
So I just decline them. It's money's one thing. I'll be the first one to cash the paycheck, but I'm not going to bastardize myself and do something that's not me. But we do the cameos. My company, millions.co. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Millions.co is just taken off like wildfire. We have over 1,200 active athletes from every sport in the world with merchandise there. Shevchenko sisters are on millions.co holding UFC watch parties. Joanna Jędrzejczyk has joined. I mean, you want merchandise, you want your favorite athlete, it's all right there. I do a lot of videos there. And then my site, brucebuffer.com, whether it's business or, my partner, Kristen, we do tons of weddings, tons of birth of babies, birthdays, championship intros, get well, COVID, whatever. We do so much. Trust me. We love it. I mean, sometimes we'll look at each other and I know this sounds crazy, but I'm Italian, I'm emotional. I get tears in my eyes. Some of these thank you notes that we just affected and really touched people and made them feel so special. in this effed up world in which we live. That's what we're all about. I want to pay it forward as much as I can.
Bring some joy into this just shit world we live in sometimes. It can just be just miserable.
I was watching those January 6th hearings yesterday, and I'm just so disgusted. And I don't want to get political.
It's pretty fucked up. Everything is just. I think for me, this is the only thing I'll say is like I hate the fact that everything has to be one side or the other. That's the bullshit thing. You have to pick one side or the other side. You can't just be,
no, you can be. You can be because it's like if you're talking about being a Democrat or Republican, I'm not either.
Neither
I'm what you call bipartisan. I vote for the best man or woman. I vote for the best idea. And many times, as recently, we don't always have the best choices when the elections come up, but you got to make the best choice possible.
Yeah.
And for me, that choice was to change the administration that it was at. And here we are,
Here we are.
A tough world. Yep. Tough world.
Feels like no winning. I'm at the point where I just feel like we can't win. But back.
Live every day to the fullest, my man. Every day can change. You can get hit by a car, God forbid, lose a loved one, whatever. Again, treat everybody with respect. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Be a role model to your sphere of influence. I say this every week on my podcast. And live every day to the fullest like it's potentially your last. Because I'm telling you right now, there are no guarantees in life. No. Enjoy your life.
Oh, there are none. Literally none. And we learn that every day. And one more thing about the cameos, and I'm going to move it over to my intern here. Was there ever a more fun cameo, though, than introducing Jesus to the devil for a church?
Well, that actually was ordered through brucebuffer.com, and that was one of the coolest things ever. I think the congregation was like 10,000 people.
Oh, my God.
Right? Wild, huh?
Yeah, that had to be a fun one to record. I
get requests for eulogies for when they died.
How do you do those? I heard that. Like, how do you do those?
I haven't done one yet, but I get a lot of requests for it. It's like, I'm not going to push it for you to die. It's like, I'm not going to, hey, you ready for your eulogy yet? I'm not going to write back for that. But it's like, if they wrote it, I'd do it. Right?
Yeah, I feel like that would be like everyone's all somber and stuff, and then you hear it's time, no more than the loss of.
Life is about celebration. I mean, whenever at my time, I hope people celebrate. Celebrate life, right? Yeah, it's down, it's tough when we love somebody so much, but you know what? Celebrate the life they gave you with you.
Celebrate the life that you were able to live. Celebrate the fact that they were able to do what they did and everything they accomplished and all that other kind of stuff. And you know what?
Yep.
They're in a better place. Usually at the end of the day, most of the time, death is natural and it's for better, for the good of the person.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm going to move on to my intern, Harrison, here. This is a fun little game we like to do with our guests. It's a little bit different than anything you've done before. So it's like a game. Think about it like a game. Yes, 5 questions. And he's going to ask you the question. If you like it, you can answer it. But if you've ever wanted to say no to a question, you are allowed to say no to him, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Okay.
All right. I don't think you'll say no, though, because you're a nice guy. But
all right, Harrison, bring it, buddy. You've been sitting there all for the last hour. Come on, bring it on.
I was following what you preach, practicing my patience kind of thing.
I like the Phillies hat, though.
So, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I live 20 minutes out of Philadelphia, so I was going to get right into it with the first question. Having lived in Philly, where's your cheesesteak spot and what's your order?
Lee's Steakhouse was my favorite, okay? And I was right around the corner from my house, and it was always a full-on foot-long cheesesteak, onions, mushrooms, peppers, everything. Yeah. Geno's is fine, great, but I want real cheese on my steak sandwich, right?
Not going with the whiz, going with the real cheese. I see. So, like, are you like provolone?
Oh yeah, provolone, absolutely.
Yeah,
no
provolone.
Question.
Yeah, yep. That's how we do things in my household too. Always.
And then if I go up to Boston, a Boston Bomb, which is basically a Philly cheesesteak with Canadian bacon.
Ooh.
It was so good, so good.
Oh,
they call it a bomb because it explodes in your intestines, but outside of that, it's all good.
Well, I mean, cheesesteaks are also going to blow up your intestines too. So
yeah, there's a place out here near my house. I was at the other day, and I'm not a big meat eater at all anymore, but break down sometimes for a good burger or whatever. But they have Philly cheesesteak egg rolls.
Those are
and I know the Mohegan Sun serves them because I was a room service freak for those when I was there doing shows. So yeah, Philly cheesesteak egg rolls.
Those always hit the spot so perfectly. But yeah, all right. Moving on to question number 2 here. So another thing from South Jersey, Philadelphia kind of area is our Wawas. So have you found any stand-in, like suitable stand-ins for Wawa in your time traveling across the country and the world?
No, you know, Wawa's got a quality all to its own. I mean, maybe some of these mom pop, you know, small places like down near my house here, uh, you know, where I live here in LA, perfect, you know, market for me. It's called Dale's Market, and they sell Puncher's Chance there. I like them even more. But no, Wawa's got a flavor in a sense all to itself. Used to be one right next to my uncle's catering service business I used to work in Philly, so I spent a lot of time at Wawa.
Oh yeah, it's the gathering place for everybody in
Well, when
town.
you're 15 and
Like,
16 years old, it's either the mall or Wawa, right? So it's all good. Yeah.
yeah, it's just the best. But I still haven't found anywhere out. Like I'm going to college out here in Indiana, and I still have not
We don't
found
have anything in
anywhere
Indiana.
near
I'll be
as close
honest.
to
It's
Wawa.
just we don't have anything close to that. We're not original. We're not that fun.
All right, but moving on, question number 3. We are talking about, catchphrases and its time earlier. But did you have any other sayings that you were like working on, not working on, but like anything you said in the ring that you thought would have caught fire the way its time did before it took off the way it did?
No, except for the fact that "We Are Live" is trademarked. That's taken off. You know, it's part of a staple for me.
Mhm.
The way I say "and now," you know, or "this is the moment you've all been waiting for," that's not worth trademarking. But when I'm in cities, the audiences are saying it back to me. So those have taken off on their own too.
I feel like We Are Live is
All
another
right,
one.
awesome,
Yeah, that's another
awesome.
one that's pretty iconic
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Remember, it's not what I say, it's how
How
I
you
say
say
it.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It's all in the enunciation and.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm. All right, so question number 4. Since you did the announcements for the World Series of beer pong, are there any other drinking games that you think would be able to do a tournament style uh, World Series like the beer pong did, like maybe beer die or flip cup?
You know what I like? I like that cornhole game. I think if you mix a drinking
Oh
game
yeah,
with cornhole,
Oh, you can do it like there is one. It's like in the pool, and you have like a basketball, and you fill it up with beer. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, I could see something like that. But you know, the time that I was the voice of beer pong, that was fun, man. That was a fun gig. Those the same guy, you know, people say, is there any skill to that? But the same team of two guys won it 2 years in a row and won their 50 grand. That tells you that there's definitely skill. And I got to tell you something,
You
when I
gotta.
first got hired for that, I guess part of my age, but I had no idea what the frig beer pong was. I had no idea until I got there and I got a unopened beer pong table in a box in my garage. They sent me the whole, you know, tournament style table. I'm gonna have to bring it out when I have a party here one time.
Did you go to college?
Oh, absolutely.
I went to college, yes, but in my second year of college when I was studying business, I entered the world of telemarketing. I was the Wolf of LA, like, you know, the Wolf of Wall Street, but I didn't scam and cheat people the way he did. And I know that guy in
Hmm.
real life. Um, I sold office supplies, but at 18, right out of high school, when I went to college, I saw a job card, 3x5 cardboard on a card on the job board. If I said that correctly, it said earn 250 to 450 a week. This is 1975. Okay. That's like making 12,000, 1,500 a week today. So it said earn 250 to 450 a week, selling part-time on the phone, you know, 750 to 1,500, whatever. And what the heck? So I went in, I applied for the job. I met with them and they go, you're hired, show up at 5 in the morning. You work till 12. So I would go in, I'd work from 5 in the morning till like 12. And I became the top salesman within a week. And then I noticed the sales manager just with his feet on the desk. And I go, I want his job. I had his job within 2 months. And then I was working till like 2 in the afternoon, going to school till 10 o'clock at night, studying. And I was making all this money for the guys driving the Ferraris and the Porsches. And like a lot of guys that are young upstarts, not knowing a business all about it, like me at that point, I started my own business. I started the same business. 80% of their sales force left to go work with me. And with that, they sued me for $1 million when I was 19, when I started the business, and it was a horrible summer. What happened is that I wound up going back to work for them. They dropped the lawsuit. They made me a partner, started paying me more money. So everything worked out just fine. What I'm trying to get at is that I stopped going to college in my second year because I said, I'm going to spend the next 2-3 years making it in the streets. And if I don't, I'll go back to school. Oh, I never went back to school.
Well, it worked out.
Now, I think college teaches great knowledge, but it doesn't teach application. You got to get out there and do it, you know,
Hmm.
beyond just your your thing, your workshops you do in college, whatever the term is. But let's face it, you're going to be a lawyer, an attorney, doctor, psychologist, whatever. You got to go to college. You got to get the sheepskin. But I started tasting money at an early age. I was making 50 grand a year when I was 19, 20. I had my Porsche 911S. Steve McQueen loved it when I drove up and showed him. And, I just thought, hey, if this is where I'm at now, I'm going to make this better and better and better. And I've owned probably 10, 12 different companies over the years until I got into the sports and entertainment world in my late 30s.
That's wild. All right.
So I never worked for anybody.
Yeah.
Except for, from 19 on, I worked with people and I worked for Dana and the UFC, of course. But, I walk to my own tune. I'm a natural born leader. I try to be that way. And I love helping. I have a 3-foot theory. I help everybody around me, working for me or not, be healthy, wealthy, happy, and prosperous. I like all those qualities. It'll all come back to me. I don't worry about me. Everybody around me, I make sure everybody's happening. It'll all come back to me. And that's my theory. And it's always worked for me.
All right.
Hell of a theory to have. It's perfect way to live your life.
All right, let's get this last.
I hope so.
Well, I mean, it worked. It's worked for you pretty damn well.
You know what? When you can monetize what you're passionate, when you find out what you're passionate about and you can monetize it, you're not going to work. You're living a lifestyle. There's a difference.
Absolutely. All right. But the last one here. So you've done 180s in the Octagon. You've done 360s. Would you ever consider doing a 720 before a fight?
Before I blew my ACL on my left leg because I didn't have it replaced. I had the one I blew on my right leg replaced. I'm up to doing anything. Right now, I'm being realistic.
That's fair.
Maybe before the ACLs are blown. Maybe, but we're past that.
You know what? You give an audience something and they always want 10 times more. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
It's like they love you on the way up, and then when you're up there, they can't wait to tear you down. It's just the nature of the beast.
Just the nature of the beast. Always looking for the next big thing. Always looking for the next big thing. Except for announcing. No one's looking to replace you. You're fine.
All good. There's 5,000 guys out there and women too, probably waiting for me to drop dead so they can get my job, and that's okay. That's the way it goes.
That's just business.
I'm all about the Darwinian theory of survival of the fittest, so bring it on.
Bring it on. All right, Bruce. So
take on all challenges.
Damn right. So before we let you go, Bruce, obviously you got the bourbon out. You got the energy drink coming here soon, but if there's anything else you want to give a quick shout out to / link to, go on ahead.
Well, you'll see, and I teased online, but I have the most amazing cologne and toiletry line coming out. It's also going to be released in 40 countries towards the end of this year in time for Christmas and everything. It's amazing. So I'm working on all that right now. There's other announcements coming up, but I never talk prematurely. And you know what? Just follow me on Instagram, Bruce Buffer UFC, and Twitter @Bruce Buffer, and you'll learn everything right there. And if you're interested in a championship introduction or something incredible for a special event, your family, birthday, whatever, just go to brucebuffer.com or contact me through Cameo. All good.
All right. Appreciate you coming on, Bruce.
Thanks, guys. And also, please, everybody, check out my podcast, the It's Time Podcast,
yes.
YouTube channel hall. We had Max Crosby on from the Raiders this week. Really good interview.
Ooh.
Yeah, really good interview. Ooh. He's a good guy.
Another Eagles fan.
Yep. I know. They know I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm on the Raiders. Okay.
Yeah, you can have a team in the NFC and the team in the team in the NFC and team in the AFC. Yeah, you're good. You have,
the bummer when the Eagles came to play the Raiders, the bummer was that was the week I got COVID.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's the only Raider game I couldn't announce. Oh God.
That was a tough weekend. That's the worst luck. Actually, that's kind of for me too. Kind of something similar where I broke my ankle like when the Super Bowl was in Indianapolis, so I couldn't go to any of the Super Bowl stuff here in Indy because my ankle was blown and I had to go get surgery and everything.
You okay now?
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, that was like a while ago. That was like 2012, whatever. Right. Yeah, it's not big. We're good. Cool. But I've had a lot of concussions, so can't go box or kickbox or anything like that anymore.
Yeah, be careful of that, guys. I can't even count the number of concussions I have, probably because I had so many I can't remember what I had. So it's all good.
Yeah, we're all concussed up in here. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on. That was a great conversation with our man, Bruce Buffer. Love talking to him, man. We were in the presence of greatness, man. But once again, I want to say this. If you're interested in ever getting into this MMA podcast media game, we're looking for a host. So if you're interested, like DM us, send me a message, whatever. We'll get back to you, let you know what you need to do to go through the process. But let's go on in and dive on into our UFC Long Island preview. For those who haven't been here before, just Chris Berman mixed with John Anik had a baby. That's what we got here. So let's go on and dive on into this. Let's kick the music and dive on into UFC Long Island. And we are live from the East Coast Flit Factory of America, the UBS Arena, as Jessica Pena takes on UFC newcomer Emily Dakota. Weary eyes from the night before, it's okay to be dozing in and out of this one as Dakota drowns Pena for a big decision. And we move on to Dwight Armboy, but kind of gun-shy Grant against Dustin almost got it Stoltzfus. Stoltzfus has an uncanny ability to win an entire fight until he doesn't, and Dwight has the uncanny ability to just not throw shots. And then movable objects and an unstoppable force collide in the Octagon. And we move on to Fred Durst's lost brother Dustin Jacoby as he takes on Da-Un Jung. Jung is the last non-loss on Sam Alvey's record, and the flavor saver Jacoby is a better Alvey. War Howie Mendel Jacoby. And what was supposed to be the Battle of the Bills has since turned into Bill Algeo squaring off against Giblert Jr., Herbert Burns. All the makings of a fight of the night, and some YouTube user with 1 subscriber told me Bill would fight Ortega when Billy Q pulled out. So we're taking Burns because that was the dumbest shit I have ever heard. And now it's time for the people's main event as Ricky Simone and Jack Shore battle it out for the right to fight Sean O'Malley. Jack ghosted us before this friend of the program matchup, so you know we're rolling with our man Ricky. Puna. And we move on to the main card on ABC. It's the Battle of the Implants as Lauren the Lizard Murphy faces Cupcake Misha Tate. Moving down to division, Tate may be in for a rude awakening as she has to weigh in 122 pounds for this fight, as her knockers make up a solid 4 heavy pounds. More than likely, one of these two gonna retire if they lose. Huh? That's always... Other people's main event captain, Jack Charles Jourdain, takes on steep climbing competition against the hardcore hero Shane Burgos. Competition may be a little too steep as Burgos sinks Jordan's pirate ship. Take 2 drinks. And we move on to the little guys as Matt No Chin Schnell against China prospect the Sumar Dutter J. That was a terrible pronunciation. Will Schnell try and grapple where he has the edge, or will he Strickland his way to getting caught? Who knows, but no matter what, this fight won't go and see the terrible judges. And we move on to the welterweight division. We have Muslim Sully Kava going up against Lee Jingaling, coming off his recent performance being ragdolled by Hamza Shemaev. We may be seeing ghosts as Muslim sniffs his way to a disgustingly boring decision, as he can never top over 30 significant strikes. And we move on to a bottom 5 fight of the card as our co-main event, as Michelle Watterson goes against Zero British Jiu-Jitsu Amanda Lemos. Go get some Hallerhead and Modelo, because either Watterson's going to somehow grapple the fuck out of Lemos, or she's just going to eat shots until Herb waves it off. I don't know. This fight has literally no meaning to me whatsoever, and really didn't anyone else other than Sims. Bonk. But now it's time for the main event of the evening as Brian T. City Ortega and Yair Rodriguez are battling it out to be sacrificed to the pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC, Alexander Volkanovski. Both with cinder blocks for heads and fun jiu-jitsu, this fight will end at least 4 to 5 times, but not actually. It will go to a decision somehow. Ortega by some crazy flying triangle maybe, I don't know, but this fight will deliver. And that's what we got for UFC Long Island. A lot of fun fights on this card. Order, I say this every week, order makes no sense. Really makes zero fucking sense, especially with like Jack Shore and Ricky Simone being on the prelims, or even being the featured prelim, and like that makes no sense to me. Like, all respect to Misha Tate, Lauren Murphy, they should be up there, but like Watterson and Lemos, like, I think they're just trying to hype up Lemos. It is what it is. Who cares? This is our best bets real quick. Only got a couple real quick, and one of them is Dustin Jacoby. I mean, you can listen to anyone who's kind of talking them up, but even though Dan Jun kind of just like fucking elbowed his way through Kennedy and Chuku's like guard and knocked him out, it's just like he got pieced up by Sam Alvey. That's impressive, like, to get pieced up by Sam Alvey, because Sam Alvey, as we all know, like 7-fight losing streak. That's a tough scene. But apparently the line's kind of like flip-flop. It's kind of weird. Unless Jacoby's arms are falling off, I don't understand why it's kind of flipped the way it is. Maybe it's just people thinking Jung is the side. But I mean, even in his last fight, Jacoby was on like one leg, and he still boxed the shit out of his last opponent, like Olikshek or whatever you say his last name. But he's done it before. And he's just going to kickbox the shit out of Jung, and I just don't think his wrestling is good enough to take him down. So that makes no sense to me. Then I kind of said it in my stupid-ass preview where I said Schnell and Sirajuri. I think I can never say his name right, so I'm just gonna say a different time every time. But anyway, yeah, that's not going to go to distance. It's just not going to go to distance. There's too many edges. I mean, Schnell could knock him out theoretically. Do I think he will? No. I think his edge is either he's gonna win by submission or Sirajuri's going to win by KO decision. That's just kind of the way it is. But I mean, the past couple of weeks is like there's an obvious edge to somebody, and they just don't take advantage of it. I don't know. I like Schnell. He's a fun fighter, very entertaining. We'll see if that ends up happening. Yeah, so that's two bets. Shout out to Ricky and Jack. So no matter what, the friend of the program curse will be lifted finally. I think the friend of the program curse is over a month long now. Only one we have is like Rob Wilkinson, Ray Cooper. So one of these guys has to win. So God willing. But let's go on and kick it off over to the rest of the show with me and Harry as we give out our medals for the week. So, all right, always fun doing those UFC previews. Say it again for like the third time. We are looking for a co-host. It's paid, part-time. DM me if you're interested. I'll give you the details. But let's go on into our medals for the week. I'll start with my bronze. My bronze goes to True Love. So over the past week, and I don't know how this keeps happening. I keep hearing about incest. And Kevin Gates was revealed to have been having sex with his cousin even after they found out that they were cousins. So shout out to True Love. Incest can't stop anyone. And shout out to the South because they've been doing it for years. So that's my bronze medal is True Love.
Jesus Christ.
Harrison, your bronze medal.
My bronze medal is a bit of a switch up from that. It goes to Rage. And I was talking about the Flyers earlier in the week, so I don't need to get into all the stuff that I already talked about. But yesterday, we missed out on fucking signing Johnny Gaudreau, which I don't understand how they fucked that up. Because he's from South Jersey. He grew up as a Flyers fan. And he's been saying for years that he wanted to come back to Philly. And what did our front office do? They're like, no, let's sign a 33-year-old defenseman who's already been with us for one stint. Failed horribly. But let's just get him back, see if he does better the second time around. Yeah, that'll reinvigorate the fan base and reinvigorate this team. Just fucking great. And, yeah, fuck the Flyers.
All right, that's talking hockey. I'm going to move on to my silver medal. My silver medal goes to Fair Pay. So a couple days ago, this actually happened right after we recorded, or else I would switch this up a little bit. Dana White decided to give Kyle from the Nelk Boys $250,000 for his birthday. So to all the fighters out there, that's such a fuck you, especially Davison Figueiredo, who literally switched his management because he's literally only getting paid $250,000 to defend his belt. That's a big fuck you to those guys. Big fuck you to all those guys. But honestly, that was probably part of his little payments for all the marketing they do for him. So it's like I see a little bit of why he did it, but at the end of the day, they're like having that on camera was a tough scene for everyone in the fighters game, everyone in the fight game in the UFC, and shout out to all the journalists out there who instantly made it about themselves and making it about fighter pay. I just tweeted out the Luka Doncic video that I still think is the funniest thing in the world, where he just goes like,
"It's one of the best videos of all time."
That is my favorite video. Is him just saying, "Oh, you sad?" It's such a great thing to tweet back to people too. All right, Harrison, your silver medal.
My silver medal is going to the X-Men because I mean I don't know if anyone else caught the finale of Ms. Marvel. I didn't really catch it, but I saw this clip on Twitter where one of her friends goes to her and goes, "Yo, you could be a mutant for controlling your powers." And then the X-Men '97 theme played. It's kind of a slap in the face of the comics because Ms. Marvel's an inhuman, not a mutant in the comics, but I digress. And I'm just looking forward to seeing the X-Men in the MCU because it's been too goddamn long.
That's talking soups.
And that's talking soups.
Yeah. I just got done watching The Boys, so all I'm calling them now is soups.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I literally binge watched the entire 3 seasons in less than a week, so I'm pretty proud of myself on that one. Very proud.
It's so easy to watch too. Yeah, it's such a good show.
It's easy to watch. Excited for the 4th season. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm excited for the 4th season. It's kind of going the way I wanted it to go. So I'm going to go on to my gold medal. My gold medal goes to Lamar Jackson. Yesterday, Lamar finally popped off on somebody. It was actually a former Raven. It was Raven on Raven Crime. But if you didn't read it, I'm just going to read one of the tweets. This guy's coming out saying Lamar is not like a winning player or whatever. And he said, "Never cry face like 7 times. Nobody speak of you crying face 4 times. I had to Google you, little brah. 4 crying faces of laughter. I never heard of you until I seen you keep dissing like you was a Hall of Famer. but you far from it across the ocean, like overseas. 4 more crying emojis. Never. Oh no, that's the same tweet. Crush, and then he adds him. Take vet out of your bio. 4 laughing emojis. You just play it as an extra body TBH. 3 crying laughing emojis. Super Bowl with 2 tackles. Was those game changing tackles? Waiting, and then it's the gif of Pablo Escobar sitting on the swing set.
I've been waiting for Lamar to pop off against one of his detractors.
I'm as a Colts fan and a member of the AFC, I am now terrified of what Lamar Jackson's going to do to the AFC this year. I'm nervous he's going to win the Super Bowl. I'm very nervous. I'm extraordinarily nervous.
We're
let's
about
stop
to see
pissing off. Let's chill out. Let's respect Lamar, so he doesn't pop off for another like crazy MVP season. So yeah, he gets my gold medal.
Start calling him
though,
a quarterback
finally,
and not a running back.
Yeah, please. Yeah, let's just chill out. Yeah, so shout out Lamar Jackson for finally clapping back. I know he's been holding on to it. He went after another player. He hasn't gone after any of these media heads. But
it's only a matter of time now.
I don't think
he's going after the players.
Nah, he'll go after players, but he'll never go after like a Skip Bayless or anyone like that.
Fair.
Yeah, he's not.
Fair.
No one. Only a handful of people will go after Skip Bayless and like Russell Westbrook. So shout out Russ, by the way. Harrison, your gold medal.
My gold medal's going to the Bengals because I think they're going to be the drippiest looking team in the NFL this season. If you missed it earlier, they dropped a white helmet with the black stripes. And can you just imagine fucking Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, that whole team just dripped out in their whole white uniforms with the white helmet on top? Like, I'm looking forward to that.
8 for like 8 and 10. When we're playing for
like
their 8 and 10, they're gonna regress this year. I don't know how
they're definitely gonna regress this year, but they're gonna look good doing it. So
well, that is what it is.
Massive W for Jersey Analytics.
There we go, Jersey Analytics. Drippier they look sometimes. I remember, yeah, I didn't even see it, but I mean, I can only think of it in my head. But I want to give a quick shout out though, because I didn't know how to fit this into the medal system. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, just because if you didn't see his wax figurine that they released, it looks nothing like him. It is disgusting. It just looks like it looks like a Madden create a player template. It was disgustingly bad. It looks nothing like him. So shout out Michael B. Jordan. I'm sorry, dude. That's a tough scene.
Who the hell is that?
Yeah, you looked it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough scene. I don't know who that is. I was trying to think of something funny and like who that looks like, but I couldn't even think of who that looks like. It's literally just a generic template, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is literally Madden create a player, 2K create a player.
Yeah,
they did him dirty on his arms too.
Like, yeah, he's yoked, dude. Like, why couldn't you put him in as Killmonger? Give him some drip. Give him the dreads.
Well, if they at least gave him a mask, like they would have been able to at least make that look like the movie version and not whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
That is not Michael B. Jordan.
That's tough. That's tough. At least the Taylor Swift one used to be like the worst, but
yeah.
What?
Someone said this is more like Michael Carter Tatum.
Oh my god. All right. So that's what I got for my shout outs. Harrison, you got any shout outs?
No. I got all my stuff out during the medals.
All right, cool. All right, next week got Mark Diakesi and Kai Kamaka. So we got some cool interviews coming up this next week. Shout out Bruce Buffer again, our man, our dude. Good luck traveling. So without further ado, that's the show. We will see y'all on Tuesday. Good luck to friends of the program this weekend. Hopefully we can break it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me all the way to the end. I just want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.Fit. If you're looking to better yourself, make sure you go to download the app or visit the website Living.Fit today.